Hi everyone, let's have a quick look at SketchUp Pro 2018 user interface. So this is pretty much what SketchUp should look like when you open it up for the first time. I'm going to start off on the top right hand side and then work my way around anti-clockwise. Right, so first up on the top right, this is just to close down SketchUp. We also have the restore down icon, which will allow you to either have a PDF or an image open or maybe a CAD file on the left hand side. And the final icon here is to minimize SketchUp down into your taskbar. Alright, so next up we're going to move over to the left hand side, and over there we can see the version of SketchUp and also the name of the drawing if it's been saved. Just below that we've got our standard menus, things like file where we can open up new or existing files. We can do a save as. Over here we can also save as a template. We can send to layout, a few other features. We can even print from this window, and very useful down at the bottom we can go and open up recently viewed projects. We can also click on the edit tab, and then here we can do an undo or a redo. We can cut, copy and paste. We can paste in place. We can also delete our guides from here. We can hide and unhide, and a few other features. Moving over to the view menu, we can go and look at toolbars. So this is where we could initially set up all our various toolbars. And the second function of this menu is to go and choose how things will display inside your drawing window. Turn off the drawing axes, for instance. Notice that that's disappeared. Moving on to the next menu, we're going to look at the camera view. So just a few of the standard views. We can also change the projection to parallel projection, which is orthographical or perspective. We also have the mouse feature tools here, so orbit, pan, zoom. You can also adjust the field of view, so the wide lens. And finally we have a few of the more advanced navigation tools. Okay, then we have the basic drawing tools, things like line and freehand, all the different types of arcs, and rectangles, rotated rectangles, circles, polygons and so forth. Next up we've got tools, and these are more for your modification, so things like move, rotate, scale, push, pull, follow me, all the way down to your annotation tools. The next menu we're going to look at is the window menu, which will give you all the various trays which you can see on the right hand side to manage those. You also get model info that will allow you to adjust things with this particular model. You also get preferences where you can go and adjust things relative to your SketchUp setup. You'll also notice the extension manager is in there. The second last menu is the extensions menu, so if you did have any installed, this would flag up. If you had none installed, you would not have this extension menu yet. And finally we've got the help menu where we can go and look at the welcome menu again. We can also see our license that we've applied, and we can also see what version of SketchUp we're working in. Now moving down, we might see a few default toolbars being loaded. As you'll notice here, I've got the standard toolbar and I also have the getting started toolbar. If I wanted to load more toolbars, I could go and right click on any icon and I'd be able to select another toolbar, which could be docked either at the top or even on the side or even down at the bottom as well. Okay, so now personally I prefer to go and set up my toolbars initially from the view and the toolbars icon. This way I can go and choose multiple toolbars and load them quickly and dock them as I need to. Now, if you're not sure which tools to start off with first, I would recommend you start off with a large tool set docked on the left. Maybe location down at the bottom. You've got views, styles, layers, sandbox, solid tools and dynamic components down at the bottom. You can have your standard tools at the top, section, warehouse and Trimble Connect. I will now dock these in their positions. Finally, just note that you get your rollover tooltip, so if you're not sure what a command does, just hover on it and you'll notice the tooltip. Next up we're going to look at the drawing window or the 3D viewport. So in here we've got our axes, red, green and blue. We've got our scale figure. We've got our ground color and we also have our sky color. Now this drawing window is also technically infinite in size, but it's better to draw things closer to the origin point. Unfortunately there is no x, y, z coordinate, but you can still keep those coordinates in relation to your SketchUp model when you import your AutoCAD files. So when you want to start modeling inside SketchUp, you could simply just get rid of the scale figure if you don't need that, and then just click on the relevant tool to start designing. You can also look at your model from various camera angles, isometric, top, front and so forth. Moving down to the bottom, we have the status bar. This will help guide you through various commands. If I for instance click on a rectangle, you'll notice that it's asking me to pick the first corner and also the opposite corner. If I hold down Control, that will allow me to draw from the center of the rectangle. The other options I get here down on the bottom left hand side is to geolocate my model. This will allow to manually set it or to click on add location and bring in a map. Working on SketchUp's default template, all SketchUp models are set to Boulder, Colorado in North America. So if you haven't set your own location, just keep this in mind when you're doing your shadow studies. Hovering on the icon next to that, we can see the credits, things like the author, and next to that we can also sign into our Google account. Next we have the measurements box, which will allow us to type in values. If I click on a circle, start loading, you can see I can just type in maybe 1, enter for meter. I don't have to left click inside to activate that box. Okay, and finally we've got our default tray docked on the right hand side. This will show us all the various windows, and this can also be docked on the top, the left, down the bottom, or obviously on the right. I could also hover on these icons. Now I can control what displays here just by closing various trays, or I could also right click up at the top and just click manage trays, select the default tray and turn off what I don't want. A really good bonus feature here is that you can go and right click manage trays, and you can also go and create your own new trays. This will allow you to select only a few of these windows that are relevant to the design stage you're in. You can tab across these two trays. You could also dock them next to each other. And finally, if you want to, you could dock the one on top of the other one and then pin those to hide or auto hide. You can then toggle between them. Thanks for watching.